Hello and welcome to this tutorial from learnwithvisionarydesign.com. In this video, you are going to learn how to create these two flat icons. I'm going to take you through the creation process step by step. So let's get started. We are going to start by selecting the ellipse tool by pressing L or selecting it from the toolbar and create an ellipse. Let's align it to the center and then press M to select the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle that ends at the center of the ellipse that we created. We'll select both layers and from the Pathfinder window select the minus front icon. So we have half an ellipse. We did this to make sure the face looks symmetrical. Let's press Shift and the tilde symbol to select the curvature tool and edit the half ellipse. Now let's go to Object, Transform and Reflect. Make sure it's set to vertical and press on Copy. Let's drag it until it's aligned right next to the previous one, and from the Pathfinder window select the Unite icon. Again, Shift and tilde symbol to select the curvature tool. Double click on these two anchor points to make them smooth. Just a final adjustment, and now the face is ready. Now let's select the pen tool to start creating the hair. Let's choose a brown color and create the other side. Let's select the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle. Control Shift and the first bracket and the opening bracket to send it to the back, and then E on your keyboard to bring out the free transform tool and make the rectangle wider at the bottom. Press Ctrl to bring out these dots on the corners so you can make the corners rounded. I'm making further adjustment to the hair. Shift and tilde again to bring out the curvature tool and just make minor adjustments to the anchor points of the background hair. Let's make it a little wider and shorter, and the face a little bit wider. Now we are going to create a shadow for the hair on top of the face. So we'll select both left side and right side hair layers, Ctrl C and Ctrl F to duplicate them. Then from the Pathfinder window select the Unite icon to merge them and make their color black. Let's drag them to the bottom and then Ctrl and the opening square bracket to send them back behind the main hair layer. We're going to select the face layer, Ctrl C, Ctrl F to copy and paste it on top of the original layer, and then press Ctrl Shift and the closing square bracket to send it to the front. Select it and press and hold Shift and select the black hair layer that we just created, and then go to the Pathfinder window and click on this one, and then again send it a few layers back. Let's change the opacity to 20%. And now we are going to create the headphone. So we'll go back to the ellipse tool, create an ellipse and select an orange color. Press Ctrl C and Ctrl F to copy and paste the ellipse, and press Alt and Shift and then adjust the size of the ellipse on the top. Select both ellipses and select the minus front icon from the Pathfinder window. To remove the bottom half of the ellipse we created, I'll select the rectangle tool, draw a rectangle, position it appropriately, then select both layers, and again minus front icon from the Pathfinder window. Now we continue to create the headphones. Create a rectangle like this. And then another circle. Press and hold Shift while creating the circle so it's a perfect circle. We'll make it the same color as the previous layer. Again, to make it into a half circle, we have to create a rectangle, position it so its right side ends at the center of the circle, select both circles, and click on the minus front icon from the Pathfinder window. Select, let's make this one a little bit darker. Select both layers, rotate them a little bit, press Ctrl G to group them, and then send them to the back behind the face. We're gonna have to adjust the edges of the hair layers so it doesn't cover the headphones using the curvature tool. Now let's select the headphones, press on Object, Transform and Reflect. Make sure it's vertical and set it on Copy. Select both sides, group them and align them to the center so they are centered perfectly. And now we have our headphones. We just have to create the mic part of the headphone. Using the pen tool, let's make it the same color as this layer. Press Ctrl to adjust the curvature of the sides of this layer. We'll adjust the size again until we are satisfied with the design. This mic, press Alt and drag on the layer to duplicate it, then make the color black and send it to the back. Then select the face layer, duplicate it by Ctrl C, Ctrl F, and select both the new face layer and the black mic layer. Then go and select the intersect icon from the Pathfinder window. Let's make the opacity 20%. A little further adjustments to the background hair layer so it looks better. Yes, this will do. Now let's select all these layers, Ctrl G to group them and adjust the size. Now we're going to create an ellipse, and then using the pen tool we'll create the arrow coming out of the ellipse. Select both layers and unite them from the icon in the Pathfinder window. Use the curvature tool to adjust it. If it's not right, then change the color to a greenish blue color. Take the ellipse tool and hold shift and create a perfect circle. So we are going to create the search icon. Ctrl C, Ctrl F to duplicate the circle, Alt and Shift to resize it, make it smaller than the one behind it, select both circles and press on the minus front icon in the Pathfinder window. Adjust the size a little bit, press M to bring out the rectangle tool, align them both at the center so they are centered correctly, and then give the rectangle rounded corners. Let's rotate the search icon and center it correctly with the ellipse behind it. Enlarge it a little bit. And now let's change the color to a better color. Now we are going to create the long shadow of the search icon. Press Alt and hold on the search icon and drag it by also pressing Shift. So it drags it in a 45-degree angle. Make both layers black. Go to Object, Blend and Blend options. Make the spacing specified distance 1 pixel of 1 pixel. Press OK, and then you can either press Ctrl Alt B to make the blend, or select both layers, go to Object and Blend and Make. Now we're going to need to expand this layer. We go to Object, Expand and press OK. Then unite them from the Pathfinder window. We'll press the ellipse tool and the shadow that we just created and click on the intersect icon in the Pathfinder window. We'll adjust the opacity to 20%, and now we have our long shadow for the search icon. Let's create the background circle. Ctrl Shift and first bracket to send it to the back. We'll select a yellow color, make it a little less bright, adjust the size and send these layers to the back. A second way to create a long shadow is using the pen tool. You can start at the edge that you want. So select the pen tool, press Shift so the line is created in a 45-degree angle. Set another anchor point, then again press Shift for a 45-degree angle straight line. Then using the direct selection tool by taking it from the toolbar or by pressing A on your keyboard, select the path of the rectangle that you created and drag it until you are satisfied with this position. Now let's duplicate the yellow layer in the background. Select it and press and hold Shift and select the black shadow layer and then intersect them, which will create our long shadow for the icon, and adjust the opacity again to 20%. Now the only little detail missing here is another shadow for the face. So we press Ctrl C, Ctrl F on the face layer, make the color black and send it to the back, right in front of the hair layer, and adjust the opacity to 20%. And then again we have a shadow for the headphones. So we select this group layers, press Alt and drag to duplicate it, select the color black, and then select and then Ungroup these two layers and select the hair layer and the one on the right and intersect them. Select both layers and adjust the opacity to 20%, and now we have our first icon created. To create our second flat icon, you can choose any globe image you like. So I'm going to drag it and drop it in on top of my artboard and adjust the size and the alignment. Then I'm going to lock the layer so I can move freely around it. Select the ellipse tool and create a perfect circle and try to adjust it on top of the globe layer. Let's make the stroke none and adjust the color to blue. Adjust the opacity to see how it fits. It fits correctly. I'm going to press Ctrl and number 3 to hide the layer. And then using the pen tool, I'm going to create random shapes on top of the land on the globe layer. It doesn't have to be accurate or anywhere near accurate. You can just go ahead and create as you wish. I'm going to speed forward in this process so you can do whatever you want for it. You can have less details if you like, and less corners, less anchor points. Now after we've created the basic shapes, we're going to make minor edits to the anchor points we created so we give the design a smoother look. When an anchor point is sharp, double clicking on it makes it smooth. I'm using the curvature tool. You can get it from the toolbar or by pressing Ctrl and the tilde symbol. Britain is obviously separated from the mainland, so I'm going to use the eraser tool to separate these two layers and then edit the anchor point around them. I'm going to unite these layers from the Pathfinder window, and then I will hide the globe layer. Let's select the circle layer that we created, duplicate it, select it and the layers on top of it, and intersect them from the Pathfinder window to make them end at the edges of the circle, like this. Now let's adjust the opacity to 100 again and select proper colors. You can choose whichever colors you like. Let's group these layers, resize them and create the background circle. Send it to the back by pressing Ctrl Shift and the starting bracket, the opening bracket, and make the color orange. We'll align this to the center, all layers aligned to the center. And now we are going to create the shadow of our globe. Let's duplicate this layer, this circle, make it black, Press Alt and Shift and drag it to the bottom corner in a 45-degree angle. Since our blend options are set from before, pressing Ctrl Alt B directly blends these two layers. And now it's a path, so we're going to expand it so it's several layers and unite it from the Pathfinder window. And now it's one layer. Let's adjust the opacity to 20%, duplicate the orange circle and select it and the shadow and intersect them so we have our perfect long shadow. And our second icon is created. So we created two flat icons using Adobe Illustrator. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more upcoming tutorials. Thanks for watching.